So now we're looking at the surface area of a 3D shape. So there's some key things that we have to know about surface area to get this right, okay? So one of the main things I see students mess up with is because they only see 3 sides for this shape, they only solve for 3 sides. But you got to remember that rectangular prisms always have 6 sides. So if there's a top, like this side, there has to be a bottom, and they are actually the same size. If there's a right side, like this side, then there's a left on the other side that we can't see, and they're the same size. And then if there's a front, then there has to be a back, which is what I have labeled here, okay? So just make sure you solve for all 6 sides. It gets kind of easy because the top and the bottom will always be the same. Right and left and front and back will always be the same, respectively. Okay, so for the top, I just did the length times the width. We already practiced at the top how to solve for missing sides. So I locate the top side, and then I'm thinking about, okay, what is this line? And then what is this line? I know that this line has to be 5. I know that this line has to be 2.4 because I'm looking at what is it parallel to. So once I figure out those sides, I can just multiply those together to get my answer. Same thing with the bottom. I just repeat what I did for the top since I know they have to be the same. For the right side, I did, I know I'm dealing with this side, and I have this line and this line that I'm trying to determine what the sizes are. So this one's already 5, that's cool beans. And then this one doesn't have a label, but it's parallel to this one. So I know that it has to be 1.2. So that's where you see the 1.2 and the 5. Left side will be the same thing. And then the front and the back. Front is labeled nice and pretty for us, 1.2 times 2.4. So that gets us over here, and we end up at the end. We got to add all of these areas together, all 6 numbers, and we get a surface area of 41.76. It's really important that you set this up like this because it helps us keep track of our numbers, to keep track of our work. It's really easy to kind of get lost because there's so many steps, okay? Let's take a double look at the back. So these are the solutions for 3, 4, 5, and 6. Notice for 5, we actually had a triangular prism. So a couple things are different. There's only 5 sides for this one. There's a right side, left side, there's a bottom, there's a front and a back. So you only see me with 5 markers here. And then you also notice that for front and back, we're dealing with the area of a triangle. So if you notice, I did base times height divided by 2, because that's the area of a triangle. I did not use this 5 on the side here because that's the diagonal. So I use this base, which is 5, and this height, which is 4. Then I divided it by 2 to get the area of the front triangle and the back triangle. Then I did the right and the left. So notice I did 10 times 5. If you look really closely, you'll see that the left side and the right side are actually rectangles. So if you trace on the left side right now, it's actually a rectangle. So I'm doing length times width. I know that for this side, my length is 10, and then I need a width. I don't know what my width is. But wait. All of the sides of this triangle seem to be 5, so I can make this side 5 as well. So this line would be 5. So my right side and my left side are going to be 10 times 5, gives me 50. Bottom, same thing. I got 10 and then 5. So I'm going to do 10 times 5, which is going to give me 50 on the bottom as well. Add that all up, 170. And then last but not least, if you look close at 6, I didn't give you a rectangular prism, but I gave you a hint and told you that you had to make one. So here's me making one. It tells me that my length is 5. My width is 6. So that's how deep it is. Then my height, how high it rises, is 7. Okay? So you got to pay really close attention to how you label that in order to get it right. But once you get it labeled, it looks like all the other questions that we did. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, you all got it.